Good day and happy blessed Friday. So I was thinking about um, intimidation, and of course I wanted to define it. So intimidation is to frighten or overawe someone, especially in order to make them do what one wants. And then the different forms of intimidation, there's physical violence or threats, yelling or screaming, hostile physical posturing, ridiculing or insulting you in front of someone. And then, perception is how someone regards you, right? So there's intimidation that is just going around these days. If you don't do this, and then it follows a threat. And the threat might not be, let's say the threat wasn't so clear in the beginning, but now we see that the threat is real, right? So I'll give you an example. If you don't get a shot, then you could lose your job. And what drives someone to do what it is that they've been intimidated to do is fear or loss, or fear or the loss of something or someone. And then there are times where people say you're intimidating, and that is a perception, right? That's how someone perceives you, and how people perceive you is theirs, not yours, right? But back to intimidation, I am reminded of when my siblings and I were younger, and I'm thankful that my dad would drop these seeds that have taken root and have over the years been watered. And so one example he would say was, if your friends jumped off a bridge, well, would you then jump off the bridge? And it was a hard concept to grasp, but I get it, right? He was really encouraging us to be leaders, to be curious, to explore, which takes a lot of wisdom and a lot of courage, to not be or feel as if we had to be like everyone else. And so it really sets you apart in a lot of ways, because when you're not following the pack, you are then perceived as fill in the blank, whatever it is people want to take you as or regard you as. And so, what he would also say is, if we brought something to the table, for example, you wanted to get a nose ring or a tattoo, or your ears pierced, he would say, well, one, why do you want to do it? Go do some research, and then write a paper and bring it back. Now, most people would say, forget it, just never mind, I don't want to do it. But depending on how much you wanted something, you were going to do the research, and you were going to write the paper, and then you were going to state your case in front of him. And then he would then take the information that you provided, and based off of what he felt like you brought to the table, if it seemed like you did your due diligence and did your research and did what you put your all into it, then he more than likely would say yes. But if it was some half-ass job, he would definitely say no. And so as we walk in the world filled with intimidation, it is no different than what my dad used to say to us when we were little. Do your research. Do a lot of research. Weigh out the facts and the information. Write a paper on it and present it, right? Because threats and violence and posturing and if you don't do this, then this is intimidation. If you fear the loss of something, you are being intimidated. If there are great consequences to not moving in one direction, that is intimidation. And I think intimidation is a tactic that cowards use because oftentimes it's shrouded in lies and mysteries, and not really founded on facts and truth. And so you would have to really start to think like, why would intimidation be used to sway you in one direction or another? Why not be honest about information, putting it all out there on the table and allowing people to choose and make the best decisions for themselves? Unfortunately, that is not the world that we've lived in or that we live in. We see bullies all day that intimidate, that lie, that do whatever it is they need to do to what they perceive to be in charge or on top. Will use those tactics to get you to fall in line. And if you ask me, it's another form of slavery. Slavery is in an intimidation to get people to work for free, to give up things for free, and it's really based in fear. And so, not walking in fear, walking in faith, not walking by sight, right? By faith. And so be wise and be courageous and be hopeful and definitely pray. And again, do your research. So it was just something that I thought about and I wanted to share. I hope you're all well. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves. Happy Blessed Friday.